King Productions presents the BearDown Corner with your host, Sergeant Cornholio. Hey everybody, welcome into the BearDown Corner. I'm Sergeant Cornholio, and we're going to get you caught up with some around the league news for this week's edition. Nothing too crazy, just kind of capping out the off season. So here's some of the leading stories and news notes that are worthy today. So, Bengals, Hendrickson, defensive end, is having poor communication issues with the Cincinnati Bengals. In recent reports, him and the Bengals have been going at it since the last extensions earlier this year. Since April, comments from Hendrickson himself, he is the one saying they have been poor communications. This leads me to believe that them selecting the number 17th overall pick, Shamar Stewart, is leading the exit door for Mr. Hendrickson, which is too bad because, you know, his projected market value is about 31 mil, you know, in that same area as all the top defenders. He has back-to-back 17 sack seasons, so why not some team go out and trade for him? Go give a third-round pick. Maybe a fifth rounder. Screw it. What do you got to lose at this point? Maybe if you're the Dallas Cowboys, he'd be the perfect fit to go opposite side of Micah Parsons. Or any other team that is desperately in need of some edge rush, go get this dude. He has back-to-back 17 sack. He's nothing but he just wants to be part of the team. And he's seen everyone else getting paid. And he's like, hey, where's my extension? Am I not in the futures plans of this team? Like, am I not a part of this team defensively, which I've been leading since I came onto this team, like, 7 years ago, I'm pretty sure? It's too bad. But hey, one era ends, another begins. And for that first rounder, the guy hasn't even signed his rookie contract yet. The information I got about it was there's some kind of terms and language in the contract that as a rookie, you sign it and it covers you and the team if you happen to get hurt in on-field drills or whatever it is. Like, this is the rookie minicamp. So he missed rookie minicamp just this past weekend. I think there's still a few more days of it, but they hope to get him back this week. I don't know, just sign your goddamn rookie contract. It can't be that hard. The rookie contracts were designed with the intent of this outrageous, you know, we didn't know what the market value was going to be, so we just created our own. That's what the rookie contracts did. You have the fifth-year options on the first-round picks. You have players like Ladd McConkey last year getting 91% of his contract fully guaranteed as a second-round selection. So there is some wiggle room in there, but the language can't be that hard to understand for these guys to sign. Like, here's the base minimum. You want how much of it guaranteed? All right, well, let's meet somewhere in the freaking middle. It's your first contract. Like, the rookie contracts aren't meant to be that solidifying, defining contract of your career, if you're looking at it from a business aspect. Because you got quarterbacks. We'll just use quarterback as the most easiest example. Quarterbacks nowadays, top tier, are making that 60 mil, right? Dak Prescott, 60 mil. So, rookie contract, that's why these teams are taking advantage of it, and they can sign a couple extra superstars. Because when you're only paying a guy like 18, 20 mil compared to the 60 mil, that's a huge price difference, man. No different for all the other positions at rookie contracts as well, but these guys, like, your best impression is just to get going right off the bat. Now, if they're really trying to screw you, stand your ground. But I don't know. I felt the whole rookie contract thing was brought into existence to eliminate this bullshit. Because you used to have rookies that wouldn't even attend camp until it's like 2 weeks before the season and they're trying to play catch up. Because they didn't like the way their contract was being negotiated. But then they got rid of that shit and brought this in. But they're still having issues. Just sign it, get to work, and let's get going. Anyway, sorry. That's the rant for this little segment. That's it. Done with the Bengals. Go get yourselves Hendrickson in a trade. Shedeur Sanders of the Cleveland Browns believes he can be Tom Brady. That's right. So the story goes as this. Brady texted Shedeur on the night of his draft selection, finally in the 5th round, and just said, just use it as motivation, kid. Like, I went 199, right? Like, use it as motivation. And if Shedeur is talented enough, there's not a doubt in my mind, as long as he keeps his head on track, he will be a starting quarterback in this league, and he will probably be a bit of a winner if he goes to the right team willing to build around him. Now, will that be Cleveland? I'm not sure. Cleveland is in such dysfunction right now. Okay, so first off, they drafted that Gabriel kid in the 3rd round when they drafted Shedeur in the 5th, so it's not like they seen him as the only quarterback of their draft. They have Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett. Hell, they still have Deshaun Watson technically on the roster. Like, the quarterback room in Cleveland is by far clustered. Now, does it mean that this kid can't outbeat all those guys? No, actually, it means he probably can if he is as good as he thinks. So, as long as he drops the antics bullshit, he's going to be fine. But don't start comparing yourself to Tom Brady. Like, okay, the motivation of, oh, he was 199, I got drafted in the 5th, I'm going to use that as motivation, then yeah, do that. But you got a long way before you're going to say, I'm going to be next Tom Brady. Just saying. Pump the fucking brakes, kid. Also, Browns news. Nick Chubb. We love Nick Chubb. He's just one of those gritty, beat you up kind of running backs, right? Kind of reminds me of like a modern day Jerome Bettis, right? You don't got a lot of them big backs like that anymore. They're few and far in between. They are around, but they're few and far in between. So Nick Chubb, basically the GM, from his comments in a recent sit-down and interview with the press, he more or less doesn't expect Nick Chubb to be back in uniform. He does not see him in the future plans going forward. They drafted 2 running backs, one in the 2nd, one in the 4th, recently in this draft. They're moving on, as they should. They have a shit ton of shit contracts in the background, right? They're just looking at, here's what we currently have to our advantage. Here's our cap. Here's who we drafted. Our positions of need. Let's bring in some unsigned free agents. I feel the Browns are definitely hitting the reset this year. But the exact context, because you still have a player like Myles Garrett, who, even though, yeah, he's the highest paid $40 million defensive player in the league, he isn't necessarily going to want to play for a losing team. That was his whole concept. Money solves things, but only for a year. Really. He still had 2 years left on his current deal. The guy's there till he retires. Browns are always a dysfunction. They're fun to talk about, like the days of our lives. That's the information coming out of Cleveland. Now, Jacksonville Jaguars head coach Mr. Cohen was talking about Travis Hunter getting defensive snaps in the coming week or weeks. So I think he's either on offense this week, defense next, or he just finished offense last week and he'll be on defense this week. Either way, the kid has been, by all reports, playing catch up and reading both sides of the playbook since coming into the Jaguars facility. He wants to do this like Iron Man, full on game shit. Kudos to you, man. You have the athletic ability to do it. Do it. Go have fun. That's what this damn game is about at the end of the day. Is great plays, extreme moments, and having fun. All the other shit works itself out. And Cohen, he is very confident within Travis Hunter. And let me tell you why this. So the Jags traded with the Browns, right? They got the number 2 overall pick, a 4th and a 6th from the Browns, right? They selected Travis Hunter. The rest is history. The Jaguars gave up the number 5, a 2026 first round pick, a 2nd round pick from this recent draft, and a fourth. So you basically have the fucking Browns upgrading those 2 picks they swapped, right? If you think of it, they jumped two rounds each round, right? And they jumped back that little bit to still get a really good player at number 5. And they acquired a first-round pick for next year. I think by the Browns brass, this was an intelligent move. They picked up an extra first, didn't necessarily move too far back in terms of stuff, right? Like, they moved back and they moved up in the world. So the Jaguars did this knowing that giving up 2 firsts, they're going to play this kid on defense. Now, will he be maybe the number 2 / slot DB on nickel packages or shit like that? Time is going to tell. Wide receiver wise, he's going to create a great dynamic duo with Brian Robinson Jr. I like the direction now that I'm starting to see the picture evolve, right? All the puzzle pieces are starting to fit. You go and get Liam Cohen from the Bucs last year. He had a great season with Baker Mayfield at quarterback. Trevor Lawrence is no different than Baker Mayfield at this point within his career. Honestly, really, he's not. He's been to the playoffs. He had a little success. They won 1 playoff game. Things fizzled out. It's been an up and down for this kid, but if he is healthy, all the intangibles are there for him. And I think with Cohen now at head coach there, they're going to put something special together there. They got a good collection of players on that team. So I'm interested to see if this is the team that emerges to challenge the Houston Texans for the AFC South. Now that I'm starting to see some of the pieces come together. Defensively, they still got to, mix match and make that shit happen because they weren't great defensively last year. But their picks are coming, and they're going to give these kids time. So, Jaguars fans, I'm pretty pumped if I'm here and Cohen go, he's going to be getting his defensive snaps in the next week or so. This kid is going to be a star, and he's going to have to be a star for what you gave up to, traject yourselves into the playoffs and further. So, see how that plays out. Saints quarterback Derek Carr retires at the age of 34. 11-year career, 9 seasons with the Las Vegas Raiders. Well, actually, Oakland / Las Vegas Raiders. He was actually part of that transition. And 2 years in New Orleans. It's too bad because he got injured last year. His shoulder started back up in reps early this spring. And this is from all the stuff I've read on him. Basically, it just... things weren't feeling right, so he went and got a second opinion. This is after already having his surgery last year, right? And turns out it needs fixing. But now even further reports are coming out. This is part of the reason why he decided to pull the trigger on the retirement was it wasn't with complete certainty that he would be back to where he was, right? Like there was more... I think it was leaning more towards he would be a little bit lesser. And I don't think Derek Carr wanted to play at that. So he just, you know what, I had a good 11 years, made the playoffs, got to taste the NFL. Whatever, man. Like, he made some money. He had fun. He played quarterback in the National Football League. What more could you ask for? Right? Super Bowl would be nice, right? My rings are over in there today, but hey, you know what? We all like Super Bowls, right? But hey, if your body ain't gonna keep doing it, don't force it. He knew when it was time, and he helps the Saints in some cap relief as well, right? They're still gonna get nailed with $30 million next year, but at least it ain't 60. And they're only gonna get nailed with 14 this year. At least it ain't 34, right? So, congratulations on your career, Derek Carr, and best to you in retirement. All right, here's a story that'll lead into another story. All right, we'll do a little quick double story. So, Rashad Bateman was recently being looked at by the Dallas Cowboys as a possible opposite of CeeDee Lamb. Now, Rashad Bateman also had 9 touchdowns for around almost 800 yards last year as a very nice complimentary, receiver within that entire passing attack. We all know what Zay Flowers can do. He stretches the field, he's basically like a high-end stretcher, right? He can run some nice routes, but man, he is easy to get banged up, this kid, it seems like. But that's Zay Flowers. This is Rashad Bateman. Long story short, they weren't able to get it done. Even though his cap is very reasonable with 2 years remaining, I'm guessing that the Ravens, for the former first-round pick, wanted something a little bit higher than, I don't know, a 5th, maybe? They probably wanted a 3rd, honestly. They probably view Rashad Bateman as being a 3rd. They put the time and development into this kid, and now they're ready to have him as the solid number 2, probably, or 3. Him and DeAndre Hopkins are going to be flexing in between there, I think. But you know what? The Ravens are looking dangerous next year, but it ain't going to be Rashad Bateman joining the Dallas Cowboys. No. Instead, George Pickens, the other AFC North rival of the Ravens in the Pittsburgh Steelers, they go and trade George Pickens to the Dallas Cowboys. So this, to me, is even more interesting because I like the fact that all they had to give up was a 3rd and a 5th, and they get a 6th and Pickens. So outside of Pickens being a diva receiver, the guy's a great, he's a talent. He's a damn talent. There are some things I don't like with his game, but when he's on, he can be a superstar. He has superstar ability. Put that opposite of CeeDee Lamb. Goddamn, 1-2 punch, throw your guy up the middle, and see what the hell is going to happen. You know what? Maybe they capture what Javonte Williams was a couple seasons ago in Denver, and Dallas just soars to new heights. Who knows what the hell is going to happen? All these guys are young. Careers can change in a change of new scenery too. So this season is starting to shape up. Like we have a trade recently, a trade that could alter, right, another franchise just because Cleveland's in a rebuilding stage. Like there's some exciting stuff here. Another interesting one. Former 2nd-round pick from the 2024 draft just last year. Jonathan Brooks is going to be out for the entirety of the 2025 season. Carolina Panthers brass has announced that his second torn ACL in 13 months, he's done for the year. So maybe 2026 we get to see this kid. I don't know. But good luck, Jonathan Brooks. Like, we don't like seeing people get injured, but start of your career, you might just be calling it and hoping that whatever you went to school for, you can get a job for. So, Panthers also released Jadeveon Clowney, former number 1 overall pick by the Houston Texans. So, old Clowney, my man. I don't know what the purpose here was other than, like, I'm pretty sure Panthers were within cap, right? They weren't over. Maybe the recent draft selections of theirs, they feel comfortable in, pushing forward with the youth movement, right? There's always going to be that transition period. And Clowney was only signed a 1-year deal. Then he signed, I think, an extension midway through the season or some crap. Or maybe it was a 2-year deal. Either way, he was there 1 year. So, big news, kinda. I think in the right system, he'll be a nice, who knows, he might go back to Dallas. They need edge rushers, right? They need some guys out there, rotational. Maybe he goes out there. Either way, that's it. That's all. That's going to do it for us here at the BearDown Corner. So thank you very much for joining us this week. You can catch us live on Tuesday mornings at 6 o'clock General Mountain Time, 8 o'clock Eastern, on anywhere you can watch or listen to your podcasts, and YouTube. You all have a wonderful day. I'm Sergeant Cornholio, and we will catch you next week. Bye.